New reporting is revealing what the United States may give up in order to seal the deal with Iran on restoring the 2015 nuclear agreement. Let's bring in tonight's panel for more on this and other stories. Richard Fowler, Fox News contributor and radio talk show host, and Horace Cooper, Project 21 co-chair and author, How Trump is Making Black America Great Again. Gentlemen, welcome.
Good evening.
Good to see you, Mike.
From Axios, Scoop, U.S. weighs deal to remove Iran's IRGC, Revolutionary Guard Corps, from terror blacklist. Let's play the reaction from Delaware Senator Chris Coons and the State Department tonight.
So the issue of sanctions relief is really and has been at the heart of these negotiations, but we're just not going to speak to specifics at this stage.
What I have heard is they are negotiating, and that removing the IRGC from the FTO list, the Foreign Terrorist Organization, is one of the demands Iran is making. I have not heard that that is a demand that is being accepted. So I would be careful about accepting that as an outcome.
Horace, what do you make of it?
Well, this is one of the downsides of going forward with this procedure. It appears, since you don't have a $400 million to sit on a pallet, there are other things that have to be negotiated. The problem here is Israel isn't going to sit by and allow this. I imagine a bipartisan number of senators and congressmen wouldn't even go along with this. This is a bad deal. It ought to be jettisoned.
Richard, your thoughts?
Well, I think it's the easy way out here is to say we should jettison this without knowing all the particulars of these negotiations. I think it's worth pointing out where America is right now, with the fact that fuel prices are almost $5 a gallon all across the country. We have to find a way to increase fuel supply, both here in the United States domestically, as well as with international suppliers. And part of the Iran nuclear deal was, one, stopping Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, but two, also normalizing Iran as part of the global society. And since the Russians are now on board, which we saw today on the stock market, a 6% decrease in the price of crude oil. Why? Because investors all around the world are saying, if Iran is able to deliver oil to the civilized, the developed world, this would be a good thing for everybody. And if we could also stop them from holding on to a nuclear weapon or developing one, that's also a good deal for global society.
On negotiations toward a new Iran nuclear deal, here's Jen Psaki at the White House.
The deal is not finalized. What I would note, and I would just go back to why we're negotiating this deal, and right now we're negotiating this deal because Iran's nuclear gains are threatening U.S. interests. There's urgency to taking steps to contain that, which is why we've been engaged so closely. And that is all the result of President Trump pulling out of the deal and Iran moving closer to having the capacity and acquiring a nuclear weapon and speeding up their breakout time.
Horace, how do you assess these talks?
Couple things here. One, there's a reason why they were designated a terrorist organization. A, they are a terrorist organization. B, they're a foreign organization. C, they present a real threat to America's national security. The idea that we should push that aside and do so because Russia is now recommending as the lead negotiator here is beyond ridiculous. It is a sign that this administration is so desperate to reach a deal that it's prepared to jump through any and all hoops. Shame on them.
Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, part of the House GOP leadership, tweeting, Joe Biden's new deal with Iran will allow Putin to circumvent the impact of sanctions. Richard, your thoughts?
A couple things here. Let's take the politics out of this and put the reality into it. We have to think about this is about calculated risk, and I think that's what the State Department and the White House is looking at, and we see that with all the reporting. Here's the truth. Iran with a nuclear weapon, Iran with nuclear capability is more dangerous than where we currently are, and we knew that when the Trump administration pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal, while we can all acknowledge that the nuclear deal wasn't perfect, it pushed Iran closer to a nuclear weapon, which is more dangerous to the whole world, and we've got to do everything in our power to slow their ability to get a nuclear weapon. And that, honestly, should be bipartisan. And that should be a global position.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a great night.
Good to see you, Mike. Take care.
Thank you.